The Successful Club series is a wonderful tool that we have in Toastmasters. So we need to learn how to use our new, I have a new tool, a new toy I am playing with my, this happens to be the same one you guys have. I noticed you have one up here too, so I separated yours so we wouldn't get them connected together. Okay, that will block that out. Okay, all right, here. The Successful Club series is focusing on improving our clubs so that we maintain and keep our members. It's important for us to bring in new members to keep us vital and to keep us active and to get new ideas and new inspirations into the group because we are here to inspire each other. So through this series we talk about different areas on how we can continue to improve our club and ourselves. Today we're going to talk about keeping the commitment. And the commitment involves 3 areas. The first area is participation, and it's keeping the promise to yourself. You joined Toastmasters for a reason. Take a moment and think about why you joined Toastmasters. What was your purpose for joining Toastmasters? You have that in your mind? Okay, that's an important thing to remember. That purpose for why you're here is what's going to keep you committed to yourself to improve. You didn't join Toastmasters just to be better at Toastmasters. I know I didn't. I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to be better in the American Businesswomen's Association. As one of their national officers, I need to be able to speak on my feet, I need to be able to think about what I'm doing, and I need to be able to communicate clearly my ideas. I've learned how to do that better through this group. Participation is the key. You don't learn as much by sitting in the audience. You learn by being up here and participating. You also aid your fellow members. By participating, you give them the opportunity to evaluate you, to do the odd counter, to do the grammarian, and to actually have help in doing and learning those leadership skills. You also help your fellow members by being able to aid them in their growth when they're speaking and providing them with their evaluations. And maintaining the quality of our club. We aren't going to attract new members and guests aren't going to come back unless we have one of the top clubs in Albuquerque. And I believe we do have one of the top clubs in Albuquerque. And so it's important for us to keep this promise to not only ourselves, but to our club members. I'm going to focus today on participation. I think that's the area in which we need to have the most commitment because without participation, you're not actually learning the very most you can learn while you're here. You need to get up and speak. Most of us are so worried about, am I saying the right word? Do I know what I'm going to do next? What happens if I stumble over those words and I get them out of order? Or I leave out an entire section? It doesn't matter. Those things happen in real life. In real life, you need to be able to get up and just speak. Today, I have a general idea about what I'm going to be talking about, but it's not written down because I want to be able to just communicate with you and get my idea across. If I leave out something, if I forget something, you'll never know because I'm the only one who knows what I was planning to say. And that's true for all of us when we're up speaking. The most important thing is not to wait for perfection. Coming up and failing is a great way to learn. Darren LaCroix, one of the world champion speakers that are from Toastmasters, says that he believes that Toastmasters is the perfect opportunity to get up and fail. Through failure is how we learn. When we're up doing our presentation, up speaking in front of each of you, you get to practice. What do I do if I forget? Oh no, is that a pause? Or am I trying to make up something I'm going to say next? You get to learn those skills when you're actually in front of a person. We worry about pauses. Am I pausing too long? If I happen to forget what I'm going to say next, I throw in another pause and think about what could I do next? I might be able to come up with something really clever to say. John Freisinger, who's a member of our club, once told me after a presentation that I had been really struggling with and making sure that it was perfect. he came and said, Mychelle, it's not that your audience wants perfection. Your audience wants to make a connection. If you've made that connection, you've been a success. That day changed my whole outlook on my speaking and the importance of what I was doing while I was out here giving my presentation. Good speeches aren't written. They're rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. It's important for you to come up with a subject that you're interested in. As I said earlier, I'm speaking mostly about ABWA. Most of you know more about ABWA than a lot of our members. Wouldn't you agree, Margaret? Because you hear me talking about the wonderful organization of ABWA every time I get up to give a presentation. In Toastmasters, we encourage you to write a speech, have an evaluation, and a lot of times, write a new speech. I'm going to challenge you to do that a little bit differently. Write a speech, get your evaluation, and then build on that next chapter, the next project that's in the book, incorporating that new skill in with the evaluation you'd received from your prior evaluation, and to make a new speech that's similar to the one you just given, only better. You never write a world champion speech the very first time. Each one of us in this room has written a world champion speech. We simply haven't taken the time to rewrite it and make it better. This is a key thing for being and becoming a good speaker, is actually taking the time to rework the speech. Don't be afraid of perfection. Be okay with coming up and making a mistake. Be okay with coming up and trying something new. After I finished my book and became a competent communicator, I happened to be at some training for leadership, and we had another world champion come in. And he said in order to help him be able to adjust and deal with any situation, he did an entire competent communicator doing impromptu speeches that allowed him to be able to think on his feet, come up with the words that he was going to say, and present them in a meaningful manner. Create that tension that we need, because often when we're in our clubs, we get too familiar. It's very easy to speak in front of all of you. You're here to support us. You're here to help us grow. You're here to make sure that we become the very best that we can be. But did we join Toastmasters to be the best we could be here? No. We joined Toastmasters to be the best we could be out there. So it's important for us to think about what our goal is, to think about why we joined Toastmasters, and to think about what we're going to do to keep that commitment to ourselves to be a better speaker. Act now. Don't wait. If there's a speaking slot available, you need to go ahead and continue. I'm taking it that I'm not at my 10 minutes, okay? You need to be sure that you act now, that you participate whenever there's an open slot. I'm challenging each one of you. Larry had a challenge for us to do 12 competent leaders. I'm challenging our club to have 6 competent communicators by the end of the year. That's going out, and you need to be looking at speaking once per month, if at all possible. Because when you speak, you're actually practicing those things like breathing. For me, that was one of the biggest things I needed to learn to do, wasn't it, Margaret? I had the most difficult time being able to breathe and speak at the same time. And I found, when I was done with my competent communicator manual, that it was easy for me to do. But then I got lazy. I wasn't doing a speech every month. I wasn't even doing a speech every other month. And when I got up to speak the next time, I found myself sucking air and not being able to communicate the way I wanted to because I was out of practice. Every day that you speak, you move a step forward. Every day you don't speak, you move a half a step back. So in order to continue to move forward, you must continue to speak, you must continue to move forward. Take that next step. Yes, You'll go back because we don't speak every day. But each day you speak again, you step forward one more spot. Eventually, you'll get to the end of the line where you want to be in your speaking career. Keep the commitment to yourself. Act now and don't wait.